I think we're going to do away with the general introductions and just get the thing started. Cassie, you want to talk?
I'm going to be reading from an older manuscript. It's really strange to hear my voice coming from my chest right now. I kind of titled it as Myth in 2 parts, but who knows what it's actually going to turn into when I really look at it again. So we'll start. And do you see your face in his sometimes? This is my mother in the lap of my great-great-grandmother. Something in the eyes I am missing. Too much cheek, maybe. They're stoic as children, replaced with handmade dresses that went all the way to my ankles, flowing when I span. Is it span? Span is so very great to say aloud. Wonder his name, if he had followed. If there is a story with 2 beginnings, do we tell them all at once? We were born, and only half the story is known. We were born, and none of this happened in unison. We were born, and before the second curtain, there was an interruption of cars. Cars will be the death of us. If it hadn't been the same plane, would Buddy Holly have died simply from superstition? Bodies from funerals. Was there enough of a laugh, drunken, crossing his arms, kissing his lips, that bodies at funerals were no longer necessary? Always lost at sea or lost at cement? Do you have any siblings? No, but I have this dead uncle. Names that we know, this tasting of coffee of my grandmother, of her dead son unspoken, played with his hair with his sister, stumbling over in too much cream. Buddy Lorenzo, Ira the 4th, Buddy fishing in Alaska. Lorenzo the 4th, Buddy 3rd born, first son. If there is a father singing songs to his dead son, are we responsible, and do we bring the batteries? If Featherstone is the joke, do we mean it as floating? Is this where flight begins, and choked when it ends? If there is a second curtain, do we know where to pull it first? Once began a story about an Edward and Edmund and Edison and Everett, mountains always climbed. Once there was a girl born and dates were confused. Once she was a daughter of a daughter, had a daughter of her own. In this is a story of a family or of changing relations. But I would draw pictures of him when I was young. But he looks nothing like Buddy. Maps, places of landing, takeoff. If family is family, do we laugh because a pretty lady? Do we say named or simply mother? If there is a first, do we care at all? A name, if a name, if a name. Do we remember the smell of her skin at night, or her sound is always the same? Do we know words between a here and a you? How somehow in myth they became the same person, echoes of barn doors, recurrence of temples. And when the story changes, is this a narration or a telling? Dates only days we think we remember. Recreation of a memory, stories untold until scattered, sound of trees, burn on a wire, halfway stopping between 70 miles, off the highway, graveyard, and as in sunset, are stories for such things, ghosts in autumn, autumn on the path. 3 of us through graveyards at sunset, buildings of marble, middle our stop signs, left of 99. And graves of strangers, graves of faces think maybe we remember. This the right family, this the place we once were. In light beneath trees, then our stopping of footsteps, and we crouch or alone, grasp of place and past sunset, light in the air over treetops. And here are found round cement, this memory we don't remember, this another place. Our birds, or for finding or falling, sound of wings in the trees, small, he's singular. Sound of birds through the air, birds with wings in our hair, our terror of following birds' paths. Sound as if we're falling, and died the same day I was born, confusing our memory of occurrence. 15 years old or young, we didn't mean any of this story. Our birds in flight with these lines. That was the first part of this section, and I haven't read it in quite a while, but a few months ago I had this terrifying dream where I was wandering somewhere and a bird flew past my hand and into a window and dropped down dead. And then within 24 hours, a bird flew into a window straight in front of me and dropped dead right in front of me. And it was the most terrifying experience ever. And I'm thinking maybe with the whole Cassandra as my real name and the prophet that never was really believed or something in that. I don't know. So this is the second part. One, ruler. They called to say your face is ready, or distance at sunset, measure your face or unchanging. Or she thinks maybe through filters and never shows, red for blush or for what he says or lips. We start with regret or a death. We think without speaking how many ways, or we say maybe hello, exchange hands. In morning there are words for goodbye. Interruption of curtains, or maybe just once. Two missing, or between us unspoken, or you softly mystery, and young through a window new screens, grass in a house built on gravel beyond the gates. Or hiding in a small house meant to match the large one, yellow bedroom, the mirror every morning, a face the same but just outside. If what we mean is speaking though floods, through chicken coops, but only just related. If what we mean is swimming in ditches just slight steps away. 4, count, or waltz, your back, or fourth, and 4 and 4. 18, for courting. Shoes on wooden floors, tap, tap, tap. Da-dum, 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 dum. The morning, or mystery, or mine. Or what I once thought was an evening, sound of the sun and its setting, armchair in the window, who is sitting when it sets. B.I. great. These ghost fools are about to give those poets senseless sense of our sound without fences, porch or continuing. Do we say Doug or more important? Do we hesitate our relations, wild about horns on automobiles that go? V.I.I. hold. Matilda, our hero. Ours like maybe, or what a word in relation might mean. Or do or doesn't I mean you? You with our intimate, you with our dancing and lack of feet. Or do we say it aloud? You or your face and this spotless. You and your face, I suggest. Skeletal. Or we say your face in our distance. Or we mean what this light or this opening shades. If we take words from you and ours is very soon. Your outsider tonight, your paradise or theater. Keep it white and how to make hominy from corn. There was a Christmas tree with white lights and another with fiber optics. The cats climb and shower in water. Maybe I will find photos and letters and skeletons of old birds and rodents in the attic. This time of year is strange. The usual people leave town and the old friends return for coffee and in my case grapefruit. And talk of nothing and walk to places. Dance, or he learned to play it backwards and now trumpets. Maps or music, spare boxes, cheating or thief, you see, I owe bored. Or if a one or a few says piano and we mean it early, this confusing our music wrong notes. Or this to that, or what it was we were saying. We mean here. And then there's kind of letters spread out on the page that I don't know how to read aloud here. And maybe an encore, or maybe figured and also in succession. Oh, how we love how this goes. Maps. We say ghosts again, our candle lit and continues. Our stories, do not be afraid. What we mean are sleeping or recordings, or patterns and what was left or broken, or always safe when looking at the distance, or when or were there or meant just for sleeping. or clowns, but what we mean is going, what was left inflated just for leaning. Dance, recur, or still, and if for apples, again, 3 relish, sound or in this room, sound or are we, sound or in did we mean to be dancing, recur, VI, to happen, or as an infinitely repeated digit, to return to the subject or thought, to turn to something after considering or trying archaic or literary or evergreens and what we mean, our dances or in any case. Were we speaking or a song, or did we know what we were saying? Or oh yes, or our line breaks, or to turn with, or hello in our distance. And then here there's a slash with an STE at the end, which could be read 2 ways, but there were 8 on that, 2 sections. Spare, what it was this repetition, always with autos, or always with intersections, or always with what or what amounts. Boxes, whiskey on the porch, walking through the woods. And did you see the lights in all the trees? They stay through the year, they fall into the attic, don't go into the basement. How it formed was inside my head and then clunk, existing, I think. Just a few days while wandering, now found. Or if you are in a place in the world where this is playing, go see this. Basement, verb 1 to terror. But this was once about birds, lyrics of migratory flight. In the beginning there were dinosaurs, and soon we began to speak. We recognized flight patterns and mapped their terrain. Clouds like spider webs, clouds like dirt clods. What was once all the same soon led to specifics. Our names for differences. You and me, she and I and everything else. In the beginning there were dinosaurs, and they had no idea of language before them, of dirt clods forming, implosions of minerals. In the beginning were dirt clods, and words to describe them had yet to be needed. Midnight, or with our birds begin again, extinction of weathers. Silence in driving patterns, sound of a light in the distance. Just ahead, or straight, or forward and on. Light in the air over treetops, light in the means we can't see. Or if steps with this light, do we know what to mean? Either last night, I had this dream, you must take a ladder wooden, the built-in one broke, belfry bats, or sometimes of the ocean coming up to the windows. Dirt, sometimes when she sings, or flight, when that someone, mine or mine, got that down-hearted blues, squirrel old. Or that once, or were they branches? Richer with sweetness, green of a town, or whether there were. Once after waking, we found windows just frosted and with snow, new spring or first days. Blue snowcoats and thin shoes. Wish there were heels for this kind of weather. Chimney, or were there fires, or when we met, or the sound, what we say, or this time, what was meant by far, or what connection, or bare, or foot, or rest, or standing still, or neglecting we, or what that man once was saying, or if you love me, ropes for traveling, or in 3 rows of boxes, new pace of structures in movement, or slightly, if round, phototrope, ornamental, zone, or graph. Or we, or where, or were, or maybe, slight, maybe, or were of our when, or we, roof, or pincushions, or turning, flat if our feet here are bare, or and our or what of water along the line, or thin, or that the light, if accessible, or of our composing an image or movement and likeness, or into the structure, or I have been or in seeing what we might need.